afternoon. It is Thursday at noon, and that means you are inside of the Greenhouse Effect. I am your host, Hayden Greene, and we are here for another week. Woo! It's been a long week, and I think we're having a good time. And if we're not having a good time, I know that y'all will be the first people to tell me that we're not having a good time. But I think we're good. Um, we are, what's today? Today is the 11th of February, which means that we are deep in the trenches of Black History Month. And so we're celebrating everything that has to do with Black history. And that, and that hopefully is this show. So this show is part of Black history now, right? Because like we're being historic. We are making history right here with this show. You can look back on this and be like, "Hey, yeah, I used to listen to him when he had that little podcast on Facebook Live every week." So it is a good week to be alive. I am it's one of those weeks where we're getting celebrated for being of the older generation. For those of you who don't know, this is the Thursday after the Super Bowl, and um, I saw somewhere it says that the more things change, the crazier things get, the worse that it is in this world. One thing remains constant. Tom Brady goes to the Super Bowl and wins it. So so I'm a Jets fan. Through and through Jets fan, and so I watched this game and wanted Pat Mahomes to like just beat up on Tom Brady. I just knew it was gonna be a massacre, or at the very least, it was just gonna be a barn burner. And so I watched that game on Sunday, and I'm like, really, this is what we're watching. This is it. Like it was so disappointing. But at the very least, I got to see history. So, for those of you who do not know, this was the first time that a Super Bowl was played by a was played in a stadium, and one of the teams was the team that was actually the home team, right? So one of the competitors in the Super Bowl, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, managed to get all the way to the Super Bowl, right? When it was in New York, we thought that was going to happen. When it was in the MetLife Stadium, when the Super Bowl was in MetLife, we thought that that was the year that the Giants were going to have a good enough team to get all the way to the Super Bowl, and they ain't coming anywhere close. But you know, you know, T TB12 took it all the way to the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Bucks in their home stadium, and they won. Um, in their home stadium, which is crazy. And it couldn't happen on a better year because I'll tell you this right now: if they were allowing fans in the stands at Tampa Bay, it would have been an absolute melee if they when they won. So I don't. There would not have been enough cops in the stadium to stop everybody from rushing the field and destroying the stadium, because everybody's going to want to take a piece of the stadium home, right? Like the first time that a team goes to the Super Bowl in their home stadium and they actually win, Tampa Bay people, Florida men, would have torn that stadium apart. It's like, this is when I was in the stadium. This is a cheer. Were you allowed to take that? Allowed? Shit, no, right? Johnny's going go Bills. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Bills are a good team this year, and hopefully going forward, the AFC East is going to be a barn burner. It's going to be the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. The Jets are coming back. I can't even say that with a straight face. Anyway, hello, Brenda Greene. I see you found us this week. Welcome to the Greenhouse Effect. So, it's good to have you. Anyway, so the big all of that, the home team first and all the rest of that stuff. The one resonating thing that comes out of all of that is Tom Brady is 43 years old and still running around like a teenager with these cats out here winning Super Bowls. Now, I don't know if y'all remember when Peyton Manning won his last Super Bowl, his second one. Um, he was literally just being carried by the team. If they could have pulled a Brian Leftwich So those of you who remember Brian Leftwich when he was in college injured himself, I think it was his knee or his leg or something like that, and rather than come out the game, his lineman picked him up to go to the next down so that he could snap the ball, stand there, and throw it and hit a touchdown strike. That's like one of the greatest plays in college football. And so Brian Leftwich, who is now the offensive coach at Tampa Bay, who is the pinnacle of a hurt quarterback not really doing much except standing in the pocket. And Peyton Manning was that when he won his last Super Bowl, and he was the old man going to Super Bowl at that point in time. But now Tom Brady is 43, going to Super Bowls and looking like he should be there. Not you get what I'm saying? It's like Peyton didn't look like he belonged there, and but Tom Brady looked like, yeah, he put the team on his back and took them to the Super Bowl, as opposed to the team carrying the quarterback, which is what happened with Peyton Manning. Anyway, somebody said, I was listening to a sports cast, and it was like, oh, all the wives are looking at their husbands and saying, "Hey, you're in your 40s. You don't look like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's 43. You don't look like Tom Brady." And the sportscaster said, "Then you should pull up a picture of Giselle Bouchon and say, well, you don't look like Giselle. He has something anyway." So anyway, but I am 51 this year. No wait, I am 52 this year. I lost a year. We all lost a year. I am 52 this year. And so I would like to think that I am a spry 52-year-old and that I could get out there. No, I can't. I can't. I'm not even going to finish the sentence. I played a softball game in, where was that? July. And I am still recovering. Look, I got a whole brace on my arm from a softball game. My mother's like, "You're 52." Yes, mom. I remember. I am now. I now remember I'm 52. I get it. It's always, you can always count on your mom to be like, "No, no, no. You old." um. So no. I play a softball game in July, and I am still recovering from it. Because I'm an old man, and we need to take care of ourselves, and we need to take care of our bodies and be good to ourselves. But Tom Brady's out here, in his 40s, running around and avoiding. I know that will get you to comment, Tony Snarks. But yeah, no, we definitely have to take care of our bodies. Which is interesting because that leads me into a conversation that we were having at the beginning of the year. And so or actually at the end of the year, when Chadwick Boseman actually died. So I have to make a confession. So we talked about getting tested for colon cancer, going to the doctor and doing the poop in the bag thing, and taking it in to get tested. And I was like, my doctor had recommended that I do it, and I was actually gonna go ahead and do it. So I have a confession. I didn't do it. I didn't do it for months. I didn't do it. So here's the thing. It was tempered. There were two things going on in my life. Number one, there was the embarrassment. So, well, no, not the. Let's deal with the second thing first. The second thing was being scared about what the results would be. Right. So if you get a result that means that your life is irrevocably changed, it is difficult to voluntarily go in for that kind of news. And here's where everybody will be like, "Dude, you're stupid, right?" And you can't you can't put this off. But this is the way that men think. Men are like, "Man, listen, I don't I don't want to know. It's like that if I take the test and it shows that I have this thing or that I'm sick, it means that I'm less than a man. And illogical as that sounds, that's the way that men think, right? So Some of that was going through my mind as well, and that like, oh my God, I really don't want to know what the result of this test was. I feel healthy. I'm good, right? I'm okay. And this is where a lot of men think, right? I feel healthy. I don't feel any of the effects that I should be feeling if I was sick. So I'm not going to go ahead and take this test, right? And so that was one of the pieces. And Anthony says I did the test. It's not hard. So here's the other piece. Men don't like reading instructions. You ever get a package in that needs to be put together, and then at the end of the time you got like a whole bunch of stuff left over because the man has not read the instructions? I'll figure this out. I'm like, I've got a mind. Anyway, so I thought that it was one of those tests where you literally take your poop and put it in a bag and then take it to the testing center, because I didn't read the instructions. And so I'm saying all of this because if I can be an example of what not to do, here's where here's where it's like, just don't do this. I did not read the instructions, because I knew I had had friends who were nursing students who actually had to take a sample of their stool, and put it in a bag, and it had to go get tested. And so I thought that's what I had to do. And I was like, that's gross. I don't want to do that. I don't even know how one does that. This is disgusting. And then this last week, I have had maybe 5 different signals from the universe that I need to go get this thing done. Nothing about the way that I feel, but I had my primary care doctor reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I saw that you went to our satellite office and you never did this test. Have you done it yet? Is there a reason? Can we facilitate this?" Then I saw. Then there were like about 4 or 5 different interviews with people about colon cancer, and I was like, okay. And then somebody else reached out to me about just doing work, and so like the universe was like yelling at me, and right. And so here's another lesson: when the universe yells at you, listen. There, people go through red lights that the universe keeps on putting up in front of us all the time because they don't believe in what they're trying to say. And you can call it God, you can call it Allah, you can call it the universe, whatever it is for you. There are signs that are there for you that you should be listening to, that people just run through red lights all the time and just don't listen to it. Listen to what your conscience is saying, or if you want to call it the universe, or if you want to call it your God. There are signs out there that you should be listening to, and you should not be ignoring them. So that's a lesson learned from that. But the other piece of it is that sometimes you just have to get over yourself. So finally, I listened to the universe, and I was like, okay, let me read this instruction. Let me figure out how I'm gonna take my poop and put it in a bag. And I was like, this is absolutely disgusting. It's bad enough I have to clean up the poop from puppy all the time. Now I gotta clean up my own poop. And so I read the bag, and I'm like, wait a minute, you don't have to. There, that's not what this is at all. So for those of you who are out there and are wondering about the test and what it entails, it has nothing to do with pooping in a bag. Literally it is like you poop in a bowl. You take a little brush, you brush the poop. You take that brush and you brush a little sample thing, and then you close the sample thing down and you take it to the sample place. I know, I know. A couple months, like 3 or 4 months, I sat on this testing kit and didn't do it because I was too embarrassed. Now, prayers up that I will be okay. But if that thing comes back in any kind of way, I'm gonna feel ridiculously guilty, and it's not something that I'll ever be able to get over. But I hope that I'm okay. Prayers up that I am okay. But for those of you who are experiencing any of the things that I just talked about, right? Just get over it, right? Let me be the cautionary tale, and go get yourself tested. We talked about this months ago, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get tested, and I was like, oh, and then it was one of these things. It was like, when in the day am I gonna like poop, put it in a bag, and rush it over to someplace, or have the time out to go to a place and put. So I had every excuse in the book, and I'm here to tell you, you don't need any, don't have any, go get tested. and if you have the opportunity to go get a colonoscopy, that's a whole nother thing. Go ahead and do that as well. But at the very least, just go get your go go brush your poop and put it on a panel. It's really really simple. Anyway, so I just that's one of the things that I wanted to really circle back to, because a couple of people have asked me like, wait a minute, yes, it comes with instructions. I love Vinny. The couple of people asked me, I was like, have you done it yet? And I was like, no, I haven't. And they've been looking at me sideways. So there's this other lesson too, right? And people mostly use this for weight gain. If you have a goal and you have something that you want to achieve, make it public. A lot of, I come from a generation where we talk about you move in silence and let people see your work. But there's also something to be said for saying your goals out loud, or at least saying it out loud to somebody who can keep you accountable. And the reason is that if you don't say anything to anybody and you just keep it in, very few people will ever know whether you achieved your goal or didn't achieve your goal. And you can hide to yourself. You can tell yourself that that it's something that wasn't a goal for you, or you'll get to it later, because it's very hard to keep ourselves accountable. But when we have somebody else who also keeps us accountable, it is very driving for us in terms of like keeping us on point and keeping us on schedule for the things that we need to do. So again, say your things out loud. Like, there are plenty of things that you can keep in private or tell to one or two confidants. But if you have something that you want people to keep you accountable, say it out loud. We have like social media and all the rest of that stuff to keep us accountable and to keep, and have a place where people can absolutely say, hey, did you do that thing yet? Are you still up on, like, just say it out loud. Say it out loud. It really helps when you are looking for people who will boost you up, who will keep you active, who will make sure that you are hitting your goals. So say your stuff out loud. This whole thing about moving in silence. You're not a gangster, right? You're not like a billionaire where you got secret deals and stuff like that. Sometimes you just need somebody to be your cheerleader, somebody to be your accountant, somebody to be the person who will keep track of everything that you're doing. Or sometimes, like Anthony, and he just posted somewhere up there, it's like, how are those Peloton rides going? Like, somebody who's doing the same thing that you're doing is like, I'm here. You need to keep up with me. Come along with me. And you will never get one of those people if you don't say out loud that this is something that I want to do. Right? So that's it. Um, uh, so it's simple, but I have questions. So ask a question. I don't know when I get the results, Mom. I assume in about a week or two. What's up, Dunn? Anthony says, have you brushed your poop today? You'll be fine. I'll be surprised if you didn't take the time. I'm surprised you didn't take the time to read the instructions. Mom, listen, I'm telling you, men don't read instructions. And like, literally, if we can figure it out, we'll take the figure it out route before we even look at instructions. We don't care if they even have instructions. I've gotten much better in my old age, because I've had many a time where I've put together something from IKEA and there's like a whole slew of parts left over, and I'm like, they might be important. You know what I mean? So I think that there is something for reading. I've gotten better in my life, but men are notorious for not reading instructions or not wanting to read instructions. It's the machismo thing, right? We can figure it out. We'll do it well, and so that's just where that is from. But so while I'm waiting for Anthony's questions, I will say this. I'm in a good mood right now, but I am not in a good mood overall. So I'm not diagnosed with seasonal affect disorder, but winter is not my season. It is not. Like, I have a hard time getting my energy up in the wintertime, and this winter is a doozy. It is. It has been dreary. It has been snow laden. It has not stopped snowing for like weeks, and so, okay, I'm being hyperbolic. It hasn't snowed every single day, But there's snow outside again today. I woke up. I missed the forecast. I don't know how I did it, but I missed the forecast. I missed the forecast, and I woke up and there was snow outside, and I was like, God damn it! Like I gotta get up, and again, this is the homeowner thing, right? So it's like first world problems, and I get it. So I gotta get up. I gotta shovel the snow. I gotta like clean the car off again. And I already don't. I can't go out anywhere. So we're already in this place where we're quarantined, and we don't see each other. And now here comes the snow and making it even 10 times worse. So like I am living for getting through March, getting through February and March because maybe I'll feel better when that comes. But it is no more snow, man. Punxsutawney Phil, you an a-hole for predicting like 6 more weeks of winter and all the rest of the stuff. Like no more snow. I can't deal with it. Like last year we got zero snow. I bought like this big giant tub of salt for for the house, and we never used it. We're almost at the bottom of that thing right now because we have salted so much. It is outrageous. Outrageous. And I already talked about the fact that I got a bad shoulder. So, like, having to get out there and get myself a snowblower. Yes. So, here's the funny thing about the snowblower, right? In order to use a snowblower, you have to get the snowblower out from the garage, which is in the back of the house. So, now I've got to get the snowblower out to use the snowblower. So, it's kind of like a paradoxical thing. I have actually had to shovel a path to get to the garage to get the snowblower out in order to use the snowblower, right? So for right now we had like 2 inches last night, and so it's easy to just take the shovel and move it out. Going to get the whole snowblower and before I have to drive the kid to school was it's a little bit too much. But that's the paradox of a snowblower. You can't keep it in the living room, right? Where you gotta, pull out this. You have to go get it. It normally lives in a place that's not normally accessible. So I'm done with snow. I'm officially done. I'm officially done. If it snows again, and I know we're supposed to get another one in on Sunday, and I might actually pull the snowblower out and leave it out, and hopefully nobody steals it. But like it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. All right. Anthony says, so I had to prepare myself to do this test. The paper wouldn't stay above the toilet. I had to tape it down. Then I got anxious and nothing came out. And so you sound like you had to do the test that I thought you had to do it in the way that I thought that I was going to do it. My question, why can't they give you more paper? Why was the paper so small? This made me anxious. So I don't know if y'all got a different test than I did. This test was simply you brush the poop in the toilet. Like you didn't have to poop onto anything, right? Which was, so I don't know. And I know we're talking about poop, but this is like, I taped the paper to the toilet with gaff tape. Oh God! Oh, this is great. This is great. And so the whole thing about that is that first of all, you have gaff tape in your house, which means that you are a student professional, right? A student affairs professional. That just screams student affairs professional. But also, it's just like, oh my God, like you have to make this easier. And I think that that's what's happened now is that they've made it easier where they provide you a brush and you brush particles of the poop onto a paper as opposed to pooping onto a paper. It's not a problem. Now you can it can be in the water and it's okay. They advise you to flush before so that you're not like pulling in anyway. I know what like, and again, I thought that that's what I was going to have to do. My instructions were very, very different. So I don't know. So the bottom line is go test your poop. Whether you got to poop on a piece of paper, or whether you gotta you have one of those the newer tests like I do, and you can just brush your poop. And then I'm going to eat lunch after this because it's lunchtime. Anyway, um, so and the weirdest of transitions, Valentine's Day is coming up on Sunday. So we go from Super Bowl Sunday to Valentine's, which is on a Sunday. And so men are just like having a back and forth. And yes, I know women watch football too. I get it. And yes, I know Valentine's Day is supposed to be for men too. But we all know what the demographics are. The main demographics. Mostly men watch football. Mostly women get gifts and celebrations on Valentine's Day. Let's be real. And I just want to say it out loud. And I want to be able to go on record. It is Valentine's Day, not Valentine's Day. It is Valentine's Day, and it is Valentine apostrophe S. It is the day of the Valentine. It is the day you celebrate your Valentine, not the day of the multiple Valentines. And so, for those of you who are writing it incorrectly and drive me crazy every single year, it is Valentine apostrophe S Day, the day of the Valentine. Okay, that's it. Valentine's Day is fugazi, right? Valentine's Day is completely made up, and it is there to really make sure that baseball starts in 4 days. Yes, I'm waiting. Pitchers and catches report in 4 days. I have a friend, and his name is Steve Smith. And from the beginning of the year, he posts like how long it is before catches and pitchers report, and that is in 4 days. And what's great is that he changes his profile picture to a baseball player with the number that corresponds to the number of days that are left, right? So if like 11 days, he'll put up 11, and so today is 4. Anyway, so right, St. Valentine's Day, right? And regardless of what you think is the tradition or where you think it came from, it's BS, right? And so why is it BS? And I'll tell you why. It's because Hallmark, and I'm gonna call them out by name. Hallmark has pushed this so that they can sell more cards, more candies. The candy company has made this a big day. And if you don't think that candy company and sugar in this country is powerful, take this as a piece of information. The Sugar Coalition and the Candy Coalition managed to get daylight savings time pushed back an extra week so that there would be an extra hour of daylight during, wait for it, Halloween. Why? So that the kids could be out longer and would get more candy, which means that you have to buy more candy, which means that they sell more candy. And if you think that the sugar industry is not all powerful, just consider what I just told you. So sugar, and if you if you do some information, the sugar industry, at a certain point in time, they were going to classify sugar as a drug because of its addictive nature, and because of how bad it is for the body, and things along that, right? So it is a powerful coalition. So if this is a coalition that can change the day of daylight savings time to 1 week after Halloween, you can absolutely be sure that it can make a false holiday like Valentine's Day a big deal. And so, right, we need them to get rid of daylight savings time altogether, Caitlin. I absolutely agree. But so this is a fugazi, holiday. So here's one of the things. Number one, Valentine's Day has one of the largest rates of depression and suicide in the United States. Why? Because we oftentimes completely neglect the people who are single, and not just the people who are single, but the people who don't like being single. right? So if you're single and you're fine with being single, Valentine's Day comes and goes. You have a Galentine's Day, or you get together with the bros and like whatever, right? So if you're fine with being single, you're fine, right? But there is a whole contingency of people who do not want to be single, who are looking for love. And Valentine's Day is a place where they get extremely depressed, and the numbers bear it out that the suicides that lead to the depression that comes from being single on Valentine's Day when you don't want to is astronomical, right? And so when you start to think about this stuff, you over here just like, and this is the problem with social media, is like you're professing your love when it should be like Valentine's Day between you and the person that you love, and you're professing your love, you're making everybody else feel bad about it, all because Stouffer's needs to sell more chocolate, right? And so it's something that we as a society need to really be more aware of, and stop paying so much attention to something like Valentine's Day. My wife and I do not celebrate Valentine's Day. It used to be one of this whole thing. It was like, well, we celebrate our love every single day, and we don't need a company to tell us when it's the day that we actually do celebrate our love. And that was true. It still is true. Like we have, I think that my wife and I have a really good routine of celebrating who we are, and trying to get date nights, and reinvesting in our relationship on a regular basis. And so we've always like said, no, we're not doing Valentine's Day. We did Valentine's Day one time. The very first Valentine's Day we were together, we went to Kennedy's restaurant out in Far Rockaway in Sandy Hook, and we sat there and we had a whole dinner, and that would have cost a third of what it would normally cost, but because it was Valentine's Day, it was exorbitant. And then while we were sitting there for our car coming around, I was like, why don't we just do this? And I was like, oh my God, I didn't, I thought that this was something that you wanted. She's like, no, I don't want to do this. It's like, absolutely. And we have never celebrated Valentine's Day after that. But you have to know where you're at. You have to know the relationship that you are in. But I implore you, do not let outside influences tell you when or where it's time to celebrate your love, to celebrate your relationship. As a matter of fact, if you are doing something special for Valentine's Day, you should take whatever it is that you did for Valentine's Day and duplicate that at least once a month, right? So that's a healthy relationship. And the other piece that I always have a problem with Valentine's Day is that there seems to be like a withholding of love or withholding of things until Valentine's Day. And so now you've got like, well, this guy didn't do anything for me all month long, or I haven't had like heard from him all month long, or it's like, yeah, my girlfriend isn't doing it. And then Valentine's comes, and it's like, boom, just this explosion, and then you a a level that is not comparable to with the way you were in Valentine's Day. So it's like it's too much of a roller coaster. There's something to be said for consistency. And so if you want to celebrate Valentine's Day, that's on you. I just know that you have to just be conscious of how it plays into your relationship, and not let it dominate the way that you express love for your significant other. And more importantly, that you find some sort of level, right? That you're not just doing these peaks and highs. Like one day you love them, and the next day it's ordinary. Next day you love them, and the next day, like, find a level. You're not going to love everybody to the highest hills, but it every single day. But at the very least, you shouldn't have this whole build up, and then the rest of the year is what, right? So just think about that. Let's see what we're doing talking about. I just remember sugar was the main component in the slave industry trade. Absolutely. Sugar, a sugar company that would later turn into dominant sugar exploited land in Puerto Rico by taking over that land from farmers after the Spanish American War. Yep. No, absolutely. And for those of you who don't know the sinister nature of the sugar industry, I'm telling you right now, when you start to go down that rabbit hole, you'll probably be like, I can't eat sugar anymore. And it depends on how you read it. But like, the sugar industry is 10 times worse than the tobacco industry ever was, in terms of domination of indigenous people and the slave trade. It's awful. God awful. And again, like I said, it was going to be listed as a carcinogen because Anybody who has ever had sugar knows that it is highly addictive. It's a highly addictive substance, and it's all in who's in power at the time making decisions will determine whether or not there is a law against one thing or the other. Marijuana ends up being an illegal substance because the person the person who was in power at that particular time, the senator that was in power at that particular time, had a rope factory that would get threatened by the use of hemp, and hemp was a substitute that was better than Cecil, which was what was being used to make rope. Like, listen, none of this stuff happens by mistake. When you start going down these rabbit holes, you'll start to realize that there are a lot of decisions that are made because people are lining their pockets. Simple as that. Simple as that. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. But more importantly, for the single people when it comes to Valentine's Day, that if you're going to celebrate your love, if you're going to be one of those people who are like, look at all the things I did for my significant other during Valentine's Day, and putting it out there, just keep in mind that there are people who do not have love in the same way that you have it, and who want that, and seeing your post might further depress them. So all I'm saying is just be mindful of stuff like that. So, so I'm gonna get ready to end, because I gotta go listen to this impeachment trial, because this thing is a hot mess. So for those of you who have not been listening, Donald Trump is not going to be convicted. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. There is no way that 17 Republican senators are going to vote to impeach him. It's just not going to happen. Hillary Clinton tweeted out yesterday that there is absolutely no way that he's going to be convicted when his co-conspirators are on the jury. All right. So anyway, so Donald Trump is not going to be convicted. The other piece about it is that he is big mad with his lawyers, who are wholly, and when I say wholly, I mean wholly unprepared. They are absolutely, yes, we are back on poop. Well done, Anthony. Well done. They are wholly unprepared for this trial, and not necessarily like they didn't get enough time to do the job that they're just like, oh wait, I have to make a statement today. Like, the dude didn't realize he had to make a statement today, and rambled on about stuff that had nothing. Oh my God, it was an absolute travesty. And then he was like, the prosecution made a good case. He came out and said that the prosecution made a good case, and that like made Donald Trump's head explode. It's like, you don't compliment the it's going to be an absolute show, and the kind that it is. So I gotta go watch that. And for those of you who have been keeping up with the snafus of the way the world that we live in, I am not a cat. I am live. I am not a cat. I just had to do it. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there was a lawyer, who pulled into a Zoom court case, and his kid had been using the Zoom before him and had put a cat filter on, and the guy did not know how to get rid of the cat filter. And so, as you know, when you have a filter on, if you smile, the filter smiles. If you look worried, the filter looks worried. And so this was a cat filter. And the poor guy was so verklempt. He was like, Your Honor, I'm here. I'm not a cat. And the poor cat face is like looking down, like, I don't know what's happening. And it seems so upset. It made my entire day. It was priceless. This was, so there's always a bunch of That's funny. I'm not a cat is exactly what a cat pretending to be a lawyer would say. You make an excellent point, Caitlin. I, he has fooled us all. So there have been lots of Zoom snafus or virtual meeting snafus. There's the one where the guy was caught masturbating because he thought his camera was off. There was a interview with one guy when this pandemic first started, and his kid came running in, and he had to like stiff arm him, and the mother came in and grabbed him. But the cat lawyer, it's right up there. It's right up there. So I am not a cat, but I am live and I am leaving. This has been the Greenhouse Effect. And just like the greenhouse, go out and be warm to somebody today. And I love you all, and I will see you all next week. See ya.